So now that it is fall season, a lot of homeowners are looking for leaf blowers. In my case, I already have several. Many years ago, I started out with the Hitachi RB24EAP. This is a very common recommendation that you'll see online. It is cheap and it's only $100. I quickly found that it wasn't powerful enough for my yard, which is quite large and has a lot of trees. There's a lot of cleanup, so I bought the Ryobi backpack blower. I still use the Hitachi for the small jobs here and there, but I thought it would be nice to have a battery option. In addition, I was looking to get into the Ryobi 40V lineup of outdoor power equipment. Specifications for this product, we are looking at the RY40480VNM. This is around $169 at Home Depot right now. It is not top of the line. There's actually a 470 brushless model, but the specs of this one, which is 110 miles per hour and 525 CFM, is a lot closer to the Hitachi. The Hitachi is 170 miles per hour and 441 CFM. I know the miles per hour are not the same, whereas the CFM is more similar, but in terms of leaf blowers, if you didn't know already, the CFM is what is important. That's actually measures the airflow. So this is a better match in my opinion. Also, the weight of this unit, the 40480, is a lot similar to the Hitachi. So I wanted to make the comparison as fair as possible. When you first open the box, you will immediately see that this unit looks just like a jet fan as advertised. Shining a light in here, you see that it looks like a jet engine from an airplane. There's not much assembly required. You just have to screw in the handle. The handle is adjustable, but as other videos have mentioned already, the way that the locking mechanism works isn't that great. That bolt is made out of plastic, so that is a potential fail point in the future. Aside from that, you just have to twist on the tube to the blower and charge up the battery. In my case, it took around several hours. To be more specific, 2 to 3 hours from fully drained to full charge. Really quick, the pros of the battery unit. It starts instantly. You don't have to pull on anything. There's no maintenance. There's no gas fumes. There's no long-term storage concerns, especially with the ethanol fuels that come nowadays. While you're using it, there's no vibration in the handle or the unit like there is with the Hitachi. And it's pretty powerful for its size. In my case, I think it's powerful enough for what it needs to do. In terms of cons, most people don't realize this, but battery tools are really heavy and bulky for what they are. To get the gas-like power, they have to have the 40-volt batteries or even more. Here, I think this one's around 2 to 3 pounds on the scale. It also changes the ergonomics of the leaf blower itself. If you look at this battery unit, the way that the handle sits above the motor is quite high up. That's to make space for those huge batteries that I just talked about. But as you're kind of outside holding these things in your hand, you can't really twist it side to side as easily as the gas Hitachi I have. It's just part of the ergonomics of using these battery tools. It's not quite like gas power as advertised when it runs in the normal mode. If you use the turbo option, yes, it does become more gas-like in power, but they made it in such a way where you can't just lock that button, which is kind of stupid. You have to pull the trigger and slide that turbo button at the same time. So they make it purposely hard to use so that you don't end up draining the battery that quick. And just to be clear, when you use that turbo feature, it's a lot louder and it drains the battery much faster. It's really hard to give you real world estimates on how long this will last on a charge because of the variable speed trigger. I would literally have to go out and hold that trigger down for 30 minutes or so straight, which I just can't do. But estimates that I have seen online is that if you're not using the turbo option, it should go around half an hour before you have to charge it. And this is on the 4 amp hour battery that's included. Another con that most people don't think about is that batteries, no matter how well you take care of them, inevitably they just go bad. That's just what happens. I'll make another video later on proving this with some of my other tools in the garage. But when that time comes to replace it, they are not cheap to replace and Just how people complain about running out of gas, well, you could run out of battery at the worst possible time. And then for things that are kind of a wash, one would be the noise. When this blower runs in normal mode, it is kind of quieter than my gas Hitachi, but as soon as you put it in turbo, it's significantly louder. You can still hear it in the house. Like many other electric blowers, this kind of sounds like a vacuum cleaner. I'm going to do a little demonstration here of the sound difference. The camera is not going to pick it up that well, but I will still say that the gas is much louder and much more annoying. I would still have to give the slight edge to the battery blower. Something trivial that I have noticed that most people don't think about is that when you're using a gas handheld blower like the Hitachi, I know the fuel tank isn't very large, but as you're using it, the gas gets less and less and it lightens up a little bit. Whereas when you're using a battery blower like here, it doesn't get any lighter. And when you're talking about fatigue, operator fatigue, if you're using this over long periods of time, it adds up a lot quicker. Really quick thoughts. I'm pretty happy with this blower. I think I'm just going to end up selling the Hitachi. I don't really have a reason to keep both around. This Ryobi blower is great for small yards, small jobs. I mean, if you're on like a quarter acre or less, you have one of those typical small suburban yards, this will get the job done. I have used it to clean out my garage. It works well for that. I have also used it in my basement, clearing out that rear entryway. Before, I would have to start the blower inside my house with all those gas and fumes. Now I can just open the door and just blast everything away. On the flip side, it's not so good if you have a large yard. By large, I mean half acre, 1 acre or more. Some people have tried stocking up batteries. In this case, you're better off with a backpack blower of some sort. As I mentioned earlier, the weight does kind of add up. The ergonomics aren't that great, so if you have any sort of wrist problems or problems in that hand area, you're going to notice that really quickly. And surprisingly, I found that when I used this to dry a car, it just didn't work that well. Not that it wasn't powerful enough, but I found that it was easier with a backpack blower. At least with a backpack blower, you could aim the nozzle easier. If you're trying to use a handheld leaf blower, it will tire you out pretty quickly, and that's just my opinion. You're free to try it out on your own. If this works out better for you, let me know down in the comments below. I'm kind of curious about that as well. And that's it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. If you found something useful in this video today, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.